that 30 million American women engage in online stalking every single day. Every day. That's not an insignificant number, especially given the fact that women are 11 times more likely to be stalkers than men, but men are between 6 and 26 times more likely to be convicted of it, more likely to be arrested for it. Women are more likely to be the physical aggressor, but men are more likely to be arrested for it. This is because of bias. Now, you get to see this bias with my friends. You get to see how important certain things are to these folks, and how whether or not someone is a victim is dependent upon their sexual orientation or their religion or their gender. Like Caitlin Tatum and Danny Francis. Both of them, their big thing is fighting for LGBT rights. Now, technically, I fit into that category. But they're not fighting for my rights. They're generalizing. Caitlin Tatum said that she can't speak up because she'll lose her job, but she can speak up for the LGBT community. Why not the homeless? Why not, in specific, a homeless person that she knows that is being, oh yeah, she doesn't care that I'm being abused. She didn't want to hear none of that. She couldn't even take the time to look at the evidence, not in 6 years of pretending to care. Now, we also get to see how it is rare for a woman to stick up for a man. Actually stick up for them. This lady, Chloe Roma, there's stuff about her that I don't agree with, but she is fighting for both men and women's rights. She's a men's rights advocate, absolutely, but she also advocates for women's rights. She also says to do things that I am against, things that I don't agree with. Now, it's immoral and illegal for me to do it back, but it's not illegal or immoral for people to do horrible things to me to begin with, is it? And of course, I get people like this John Lopez feller who's my screensaver for this. You know, he didn't even give me time to see what it is that he typed before he removed the comment. Ted Bollinger did the same thing, not realizing that it still gives me the notification. It just doesn't tell me the entire thing that you typed. But again, these are these trolls who keep creating fake account after fake account after fake account to harass me. They've been doing this since before Natalie was killed, but nobody cared. To this day, not one of my friends actually gives a shit. So are they really my friends? How hard are they trying? They're not trying at all. They're bullshitting me and wasting my time. They type at me a whole bunch of fucking ignorant bullshit. And I ask them to call and actually listen. So they call, eventually, maybe, and then they do all the talking. Or they interrupt me continuously to tell me what to think and what to feel and what to do. The moment they think that they might have to endure any of the things that I actually have to endure, you get to see how cowardly they really are. How poor them, poor them, poor them. No, not poor you. You're a useless piece of shit who pretended to be my friend when it was beneficial. Well, that's not a friend. That's a fair weather friend. And by definition, that's not a real friend. When your friends are only your friends when things are good, they're not your friends. Why is it that Maddie Boa and Natalie Bollinger were my friends and nobody else was? Because I was on my own and nobody cared. After I hurt my back, nobody gave a shit. I needed help. I could not do things for myself. And instead of people trying to understand that, they victimized the living shit out of me for it. Or even worse, neglected me altogether. See, that neglect is the horrible part. Your sister who committed suicide last year, she committed suicide because she told somebody what was going on and she was blown off, as always. That's right, even women are blown off. Comes down to social class. Yes, women are worth more than men to American people. We are taught this bias. But we're also taught who it's okay to victimize: the poor. Sure, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl is less likely to be victimized, but if she's poor, well, she'll probably still get victimized. If she's really super pretty, there's a possibility that people will hand her everything hand and feet. Oh, we got another troll on here. So what do we do with these guys? That's right, we take a screenshot to show that they're here, that they do exist, and then we clip on it, and we hide user on this channel. My God, that's the easiest thing to do. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do that to people in real life? Like when Robert Farnsworth is in my face threatening me for the 6th time. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just block him? But no, I gotta move to somewhere else. Always gotta move to somewhere else. When I'm victimized, your solution is for the victim to run away, to spend all of their resources to go somewhere else where there's no support. Without civilian oversight, none of these places are gonna help. That's the thing about the mentally ill tag. What they're doing is highly illegal, but it doesn't matter if you don't give a shit. What Natalie Bollinger, Alicia Bollinger, Maddie Boa, and their friends and extended friends and family took part in before Natalie was killed, that's not okay. And it's certainly not okay for the news media and for the police to make me a target for the rest of my life because they don't want to look at the fucking evidence. They don't care what's true and what's not. They don't care whose lives they destroy. They don't care who's harmed. Neither do my friends or family. They didn't care who harmed me. What they cared about was what they could get out of it. My little sister didn't give two shits about helping me. She just wanted my fucking money, and then she wanted to go get fucked up with Ed again. Every time. I went through my recordings, and I got at least 3 recordings with my sister where I went to her for help. All 3 times she needed money for what turned out to be tweaker cams. Fucking A. You can also see how the Bollinger family, especially the women, took part in not only threatening, harassing, and intimidating me and gaslighting the shit out of me and slandering my name, but they got men involved. And they had men do the threatening and the serious crimes. So they could say, oh, I didn't do anything. I'm a poor innocent victim. No, fuck all of you. Fuck this country. Fuck everyone in it. You can look away as long as it's not happening to you, and you think little nice things here and there are going to fix it. No, they don't. Temporary band-aids aren't going to prevent your ship from fucking sinking, dumbass. If you got a boat and it's got a big-ass hole in it, what you need is, first of all, get a whole bunch of those people bailing the water. That means getting buckets and tossing that water over the side. While you're doing that and running the sumps, you need to put a work crew in the water to get that hole covered from the outside while you're patching it from the inside as well. You got to actually fix it well enough to get it somewhere where you can get it in dry dock and actually repair the thing properly. But if you don't work together, you're all on the same sinking ship. When you go, hey, I don't care about that guy at the other end, that guy at the front end of the ship, well, the front end of the ship is underwater, and that guy on the front end of the ship is starting to go underwater too. But I don't care about him because my side of the ship is still dry. It's not going to stay dry for long. When it's every man for himself, you're jumping overboard. You know what that means? Now you're shark fodder. Now you are decreasing your chances of survival exponentially by looking the other way during critical points in time. You could have been bailing water that whole time, along with that guy at the front of the ship. Ineffective leadership. That's what we got, though. That's why our ship is going down. And then we got the religious thing, where we're supposed to have separation of church and state. But that's not what we have, is it? How many of these mandated reporters and lawmen that I went to wanted to ignore the law and start telling me about God? Or how many public pretenders or other government officials, when I tried to get evidence that I am legally entitled to, told me that it would take an act of God? No, $15 is what it takes in many of these places. $15 to buy the body cam evidence. $15. But none of these people told me that. These people didn't want to tell me the legal route. These lawyers, public pretenders, didn't even pretend to do their fucking jobs. An act of God? Are you fucking kidding me? Show me where it says that I need an act of God to take someone to court. Show me where it takes an act of God for discovery evidence, you lazy pieces of shit. Oh yes, but I have a penis, so I must be the predator. I am called mentally ill, so I must be the predator. I'm homeless, so I must be the junkie. No. Out of all of this time, all of the last 6 years, I have had one whiz quiz that tested positive for drugs that shouldn't have been in my fucking system. Once. And I had to go to the hospital in Hood River and try to force those people to do their jobs. Thank goodness I recorded the fact that the doctor committed felonies in Hood River. Thank goodness I recorded that. The problem is, again, I have a penis, so nobody cares. They want to bullshit me and pretend to care and then blow me off and ignore me after fucking telling me that they'll do this and they'll do that. Oh, Sean, if you have an emergency, go ahead and call. Well, if I call when I'm having an emergency, you ignore me for 2 weeks or 6 months or 2 years. Get your head out of your ass. There's a lot of folks who say, oh, Sean, you're worse than they are. You know, you're a hypocrite. You know, you talk about how horrible it is for other people to do this stuff, but you're doing it. No, I'm not. The majority of the horrible shit that these people do to me, I don't have the capability to do to another person. I barely have the ability to threaten to do those things back. And even that I have to psych myself up for. And look at the fact that I tried the legal route first. I jumped through the legal hoops first and got nowhere. Why? Because I was alone. I didn't have a friend or family member who cared to take a look. Not one of my friends or family members cared to take a look. Except Mandy Singer, and I did have to pay her for that. And no, she didn't take the time to do it. She said that she would do. And no, it's not entirely her fault. And no, it's not my fault either. That's the most fucked up part, is when you blame the victim for being victimized. Or you blame them for the lack of resources that they have from being victimized. You want to pretend that they have choices and options that they don't, just because you have those options. You want to say, oh, I only have everything that I have because I busted my ass for it. Well, what about when your mommy and daddy helped you to keep that stuff? When you would have lost everything, over $50 worth of rent. 50 fucking bucks. That's it. Now, without that 50 bucks, you lose your place, right? You lose everything that you've got. You've got nowhere to put it. Maybe you can get a storage facility. Let's say your rent is on the cheap side, Boulder, Colorado. Let's say you're only paying $1,600 a month for rent, right? You're only $50 short. And you'd think that people would understand that, especially $1,600. You can handle $1,550. No, they're stretched fucking to the max too. Your roommates are paying $1,600 a piece too. That extra 50 bucks, it's a lot of money to them as well. I've seen throughout my life how nearly every man that I know is taking care of a woman who is talking about how she's doing it all herself. He's bending over backwards to give her everything that she wants so that she'll stop complaining about how much her life sucks. But no matter how much he bends over backwards, she wants more. And when that tap is cut off, those girls go fucking insane. They go fucking crazy. As soon as your tap is turned off, you'll destroy a man's life because he stopped giving you free shit. Holy hell. You will slander his name. You will go to your friends. Women that you don't even like. Women that you tell me that you can't stand. Because they're manipulative and twisted. But when that man cuts off that tap, you go to those very same women and you have them help you destroy his life. And you think it's okay. A lot of people wanted to say, oh, well, Sean, you have to have evidence. I have evidence. I've been sending you evidence and posting evidence. You've been ignoring it for 6 fucking years. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right, Sean, send it to me. I'll take a look. So I sent him just a little bit. Have you looked? No. Even just a little bit that I sent you, you haven't looked at. And there is so much more. You want to say, oh, Sean, nobody could possibly look at 6 years worth of this shit. Well, you know what? 6 years worth of this shit or not, you had the opportunity 6 years ago, Caitlin Tatum. You had the opportunity to be more than just bullshit and pretty words. Now, the mean girl is back today, here at Starbucks. And I gotta tell you, John's not here, but there is another male staff member here. She is not misbehaving like she was yesterday. She is minding her P's and Q's, and she is pretending to be what's the best way to describe it? She's a meek little Amish woman. I'm also afraid that if John leaves and we end up with another situation like yesterday, that it's going to become a very unsafe situation for me. You're two completely different people. You're the person that you pretend to be. It's supposed to be sweet and innocent, the sugar and spice and everything nice. And then there's when you think that you got it all to yourself. That young woman is working today. And although there's other women there that are working, the fact is that one male influence there is enough to prevent her from being that mean girl, at least for the time being. But it's a matter of the influences. It's amazing how one influence is enough to do some real damage. Like that woman's influence yesterday with the other 3 people that worked there. That was horrible. That was a horrible experience in the Starbucks yesterday. We also get to see how many of my friends, once they realize that the predators that I was talking about are their drug connections, shit, that didn't go well. Like Todd Ryan Case, realizing that the guy that he was getting his drugs from is Natalie Marie Bollinger's dad. I'm sure that went over about as well as Led Zeppelin. And then, of course, there's Kayla Trujillo, getting her drugs from Blaine McCrelius, who's one of the twisted fucks who was messing with me over the situation at Ken and Leah's. See, that's the thing. My predators got to use Natalie Bollinger's death as an excuse to harm me and to get away with it. Got to use it to try to justify all of the crimes that they had committed against me in my lifetime. Like somehow magically it was okay because Natalie was dead and I must have been the killer. They've been playing on a reputation I don't deserve. If I gotta break a window to save a life, I'll break a fucking window. What's worth more to you? Your fucking window or your child's life? What's more important to you? Your reputation or a disabled person's life? What's more important to you? Your pride or your rights? Because we the people means we. Now the guy who's the assistant manager here, he might just be a shift manager, but I think he's the assistant manager. He's here today, and he's a pretty jolly feller, pretty upbeat. And between that girl opening her mouth and saying a bunch of mean shit and her just being quiet, she's being quiet, which allows the assistant manager to set the pace, set the tone, and set the mood for the environment. And he does a very good job of making it a safe environment. I'm afraid that Jennifer will be here today to be the manager again, though, and when somebody decides they don't like you, what do? When they have a position of power, you have to be afraid because they can use that position of power to harm you. Just like that lady the other day at the Denny's wanted to use her position of power to harm me. That mean girl bullshit that happened yesterday, that is how quickly and easily a situation can get completely out of hand. And also how easy it is for me to lose a lot of respect for a lot of people at once. You take part in that group cruelty, and holy hell, no, there isn't a goddamn chance in the hell that I'm going to be on your side. What the fuck is wrong with you? This isn't magically okay just because you're a woman. It's not okay to stalk somebody just because you're a woman. It's not okay to get on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and brag about destroying a man's life just because you're a woman. Actually, yes, it is. Facebook algorithms, YouTube algorithms are based on bias, not law. What the police do, who they choose to arrest, is based on bias, not law. Lucky Re9 type, hey sweet pea, good to see you today. Good to have you interacting too. I had somebody called Hopa Long try typing some shit on me. I deleted their comment earlier. It'd be nice if I could do that in real life, right? Instead of wasting resources to go elsewhere. If people would speak up and share the evidence, you know, that's the thing. I've been begging people to share it for many years. You know, many hands make for light work. If people would get onto my YouTube and on my Facebook and grab that evidence that shows that these YouTube channels are fucking lying, They could show it on those YouTube channels. They could speak up on their own YouTube channel and say, hey, this is fucked up and it needs to stop. There are 2 people who have done that now. They didn't go at it for very long or very hard, but at least it's something. At least it's a start. I might puke, so I'm going to end the video. Anxiety. It's a bitch. Anyway, I got my stuff abandoned in the Starbucks. The assistant manager, he's got a cool minion name. He's also a funny feller, good sense of humor. And unlike Jennifer goes out of her way to play like anything that I say is something stupid that doesn't make any sense. Whereas John, who's the manager, and Kevin, the assistant manager, they both pick up on it right away. Pretty much everybody else picks up right away that I'm telling a joke. You really have to go out of your way to play stupid. But if you don't like me, I understand why you're going to play fucking completely goddamn retarded like that. Am I going to be mean to Jennifer? No, I'm going to be as pleasant to her as always. After that mean girl left yesterday, and it was Jennifer and those other 2 young women, well, I'm going to tell you something. When I left, I let them know it had been a pleasure, because it was. And then, of course, I give them a little bit of playfulness. Lucky Re9 type hugs, and I love laughing. Me too. I need help to do the legal stuff. Any of the legal stuff, because I'm called mentally ill. I can't do alone. You suggesting that I do something doesn't get someone to help me with it. When you say, oh, I can't, you're in a different state, you can make a call from anywhere. Anyway, it's good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. And your sister's. And no victim left behind. Regardless of gender, regardless of bias. We need to follow the law, not bias. My friends followed bias. The police followed bias. The courts followed bias. The media followed bias. And they all preyed on that bias to get people to prey on me. And then they ignore all of the people who preyed on me by calling me mentally ill and pretending I'm schizophrenic. How many of you are speaking up? Because you're next. Martin Niemöller, he made a poem called When They Came after World War II. He was in a concentration camp during World War II. He was a priest. When They Came by Martin Niemöller. I recommend looking at it. I recommend reading it. I recommend understanding why we the people needs to be we the people, not BLM and MMIW and the KKK. No victim left behind means no victim left behind. It means we need to ignore racist hate groups and sexist hate groups like BLM, the KKK, and the Me Too movement. Because we can see loud and clear that Me Too doesn't matter if the me is a male, or homeless, or white.